Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Advanced Warfare in Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the Lynx Tack-Driver. This is a sniper rifle that I honestly didn't have a whole lot of fun with, but I tried very hard, and you're going to get to see my best attempt at good Lynx gameplay. But let's talk about the stats on the weapon and not so much me complaining about it. It has -1 damage on the stat chart, which is a little bit unusual for elite weapons. Elites don't usually go negative in the damage category, but as I said in the sniper rifle episode, this doesn't really change the actual damage. What it actually changes is it moves the penetration from high to low. Previously, the Lynx was in the high penetration category, meaning that you do the most amount of damage while shooting through walls, and now it moved it down to medium, so now it deals, we'll say, normal assault rifle damage when shooting through walls. Not the biggest of changes, probably because you're not going to be wallbanging very much with this weapon anyway. It also has a 10% slower sprint out time, and this is bad for quickscoping or for fast sniping. The sprint out time is when you're sprinting, and then there's a little bit of a delay to go from sprinting to being able to aim down sights. You kind of have to pick your weapon back up. That's 10% slower. It's not the biggest difference, but if you're used to snapping and aiming down sights really fast, you might feel it on this weapon. And it also has a rate of fire reduction from 400 RPM to 375 RPM. If you haven't noticed the trend already, we're doing the negatives first today. We'll be doing the positives later on. It doesn't seem really huge, but you got to remember that 400 is kind of a small number anyway. You really won't feel it too much, maybe a little bit. You might oversample it once or twice, but more often than not, you're going to have to shoot it a little bit slower, a little bit less spammy-like than some of the other assault rifles, because if you're standing, the recoil is extremely high, and you won't be able to shoot it quickly anyway. And if you're prone, which is how you should be when you're using this weapon, because you get a massive recoil reduction when prone, people are going to be kind of dashing and boost jumping and sliding around, so you won't be able to pop real quick, because after your first pop, they'll probably have dashed or slid out of the way, and you'll have to kind of realign. You probably see me struggle with that several times just in this video. So not really the biggest of problems, though it can be if you've got a good spammy trigger finger. Now let's talk about the good things about the Lynx Tack-Driver. I've already talked about all the bad things. It has +3 accuracy on the chart, which translates to 3 times reduced idle sway. Now that is a big thing, because the sniper rifles sway a lot in Advanced Warfare. It's a big problem in the sniping community. They complain about it. They have problems with it. It messes up at quickscoping. It doesn't aim down sights accurately. You have to hold your breath and reduce this and fix this. It's kind of problematic, so it's really nice to have a weapon with very low idle sway. Unfortunately, that's not the problem with the Lynx Tack-Driver or the Lynx in general. The problem with the Lynx, or what makes this weapon so difficult to use, at least in core modes, is that it kicks like a mule, and this one still kicks like a mule because the accuracy has nothing to do with the recoil on this weapon. If you're standing, or even if you're crouching, it's going to kick extremely hard and make it very difficult for you to get the follow-up shot, which you're going to need to kill, because every single area on the body is a 2-shot kill except for the head. And when you run a sniper rifle, and when you run a silencer on the sniper rifle, which is what you probably want to do anyway, it's a 2-shot kill even to the head. So this accuracy doesn't really change that, and it still kicks like crazy. In my opinion, this isn't really worth it, even for an elite weapon. It doesn't really improve on the flaws of the base variant. If I were designing this, I would make a variant that actually has less recoil, or maybe shoots extremely faster, or deals more damage, or something like that. All of these would improve on the base variant. Just reducing the idle sway and nerfing several other things don't really help you very much, so I didn't ultimately find this weapon to be worth it at all. And as you can see here, I actually decided to go ahead and remove it from my inventory because I really don't need it and won't be using it again. That being said, if you are a hardcore sniper, this is going to be a good gun for you, actually. It's very good in hardcore mode because you can put a silencer on it and still one-shot kill anywhere at almost any range, and wallbang and get a ton of one-shot kills. So if hardcore is your game mode and you like sniping in this game mode, Lynx is going to be a good gun for you. Maybe not the best gun, because in hardcore you can still use something like the AK or the the BAL or something like that and get one-shot kills. Not really necessary to snipe, but if you want to, it can do work, and that's where I would recommend using it. That's all for this episode of In Depth. I hope that you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. You can always check out the previous episode, which is on the heatsink, and the next episode, which is going to be on a good weapon. I've done quite a few bad ones in a row. It'll be the HBR A3 Average Joe. Drifter out.